technique works. So what I wanted to start with is something completely different, because I don't have a technical presentation. But Jason already started with the political part and with the anger of the Lustre community about Oracle. So, first of all, I want to introduce a very brief history of Lustre, and then what the community thinks about and how the community tries to bring Lustre forward. So, as Jason already mentioned, Lustre was started by Peter Braun, who then had, as he said, not much idea about quality assurance, was his words. And he built up a company about around his baby, a company which earned its money from two sources. First of all, some bigger American computer sites, especially national labs, wanted to have more and more functions into Lustre, and they paid those functions. Peter implemented that, hired staff to implement that, and then released the whole thing under the GPL. And the other source were some support contracts. I realized that the University of Zurich had been rather one of the earlier or universities in Europe having a support contract with CFS indirectly. But at some stage, Peter Braun got tired about his company and wanted to sell it, and wanted to make real money out of a GPL product, sold it to Sun. And Jason mentioned some of the things, but I don't agree completely. I think it grew also a little bit more stable after Sun took it over. But in 2010, Sun has been sold to Oracle. And this changed the whole thing completely. Why? First of all, I will mention that again, Oracle is only interested in making money, making big money. And big computer centers are interested to have a fair price for their big machines. And they don't overpay things. So quite some struggle started, especially after the Lustre conference in April, where Oracle stated that there will be no CFS for Lustre under Linux, only for Lustre under Solaris. By the way, Lustre under Solaris doesn't fly yet. Despite of the fact that, for instance, Sun promised written to the Zurich Supercomputing Center that they will introduce ZFS, or the bottom ZFS layer, not the whole ZFS stack, into Lustre. So within Oracle, there seemed to be quite a little bit of a struggle between different fractions. And the Lustre developers tried to push some things, but they have a hard time. What they have promised, these are the quotes are real quotes taken from Oracle slides. Lustre will remain open source and freely accessible. Yeah, it has to, because it's under the GPL version 2, but anyway. It seems that Oracle will emphasize on appliances, so you can buy a whole Oracle Lustre appliance, and that's it. They promise some improvements, and they welcome, of course, cheap labor force from outside. And what's the most important thing? They are ready to maintain the code to avoid forks. So, what are the worries of the stakeholders, of the different stakeholders? There are not only the computer sides, there are also companies, as we've heard, for instance, Cray. Lustre 2, Jason already mentioned, upgrade won't be possible, and it will only be supported under Oracle Enterprise Linux, formerly known as Unbreakable Linux, then it has broken. And there won't be any slash servers. No support will be given for people doing things like in Bern or wherever, buying rather cheap hardware and implementing Lustre there. You need to buy expensive hardware because Oracle wants to make money, or big money. It's no shame to make money. So this CFS pledge which has been done has been renounced. There is no project by Oracle to introduce end-to-end data integrity. That is what Jason explained so wonderfully before, under Linux. Parenthesis, ButterFS might be a solution, but this will take some years. As already said, supercomputing research sites are not of interest for Oracle. Jülich, the supercomputing center in Jülich, already complains about that they get support in a manner now as a small or medium business is getting, and not as a leading edge supercomputing center, which has a contract with Sun to develop, or Sun now, Oracle, to develop not only Lustre but also other Sun software and hardware to build reliable big clusters. So Jülich is really, really angry. And the Oracle communication about its future plans is not only not very clear. Oracle has a policy not to promise, not to open future roadmaps. In contrary to Sun, in Sun you had roadmaps everywhere. They sometimes led somewhere in the nowhere land. But anyway, they communicated what they were thinking about, what they were planning, and then they communicated when they were changing their plans. Oracle is not doing that, which makes it very difficult for supercomputing sites to plan. So what's the Lustre community? You have a lot of names here. GSGS I forgot to write down. So they are really the big players in supercomputing are there. The major hardware vendors, except IBM, because they have their own file system. And there are some specialized companies which are mainly run, or on the technical side, run by former CFS or Sun employees. Xytrax has just bought Peter Braun's company, former company. He's working there now. VMcloud has some of the really good Lustre experts now there. And of course, Oracle still belongs to the community and wants to belong to the community. So, what are the community goals? What do we want? Very important is to maintain a kind of collaboration among the stakeholders, including Oracle. So nobody wants to to just take what's there under GPL, fork it, and leave Oracle out. The mantra, which you hear and see on every talk about the future on Lustre, is no fork allowed. It's repeated so frequently that I started out. The aim is that the source tree will not be forked in a way that there is a Lustre repository and another Lustre-like repository. The aim is to have everything in the repository which is guarded by Oracle, if possible, but there might be some branches or flavors in it. For instance, the gray Lustre is a kind of flavor of Lustre. Some enhancements, some differences on it. Then the community wants to have future development. Jason mentioned some parts, end-to-end data integrity, already told. Improved backup, it's nonsense to do the backup under this kind of file system over the file system. The possibility to use either very fast or very cheap storage and not only Oracle storage. Then to improve the level 3 support, and might be also the level 2 support. At the moment, having a Lustre contract, I have to say you get the better support from the mailing list than from the contract. Somebody agrees. To keep the information flow open and to have a comprehensive documentation. Documentation is also a little bit a problem of Lustre. So the community is forming now into formal organizations. In the US, there is the Open Scalable File System. This organization has been founded last year, not only with a focus on Lustre, also with a focus on future scalable file systems for this extremely big plant machines on Lawrence Livermore or Sandia Lab, where they're thinking about hundreds of petabytes. And nobody knows how to handle this currently. Membership fee is very low. So you have to have $500,000 to become a full member. The idea, and you have to spend about 4 FTs as well. The idea, of course, is to get money from the US government, especially from the Department of Defense. And for that, you need to have an own organization because the national labs don't get additional governmental money. They have already some. The other organization, the other American organization, the HBCFS, is rather targeting the wider community, like individual members, like developers, also companies. But for companies, they have a bit hard bylaws, by the way. So to have a kind of umbrella organization, more or less governing the community efforts around Lustre. You might have noticed that the word Lustre doesn't appear in the name of those organizations. Lustre is a registered trademark by Larry Ellison, by Oracle, and nobody wants to fight with him. And there is, in founding the European OFS Cooperative Society, and I forgot my little paper to tell you what an SCE is. That's called Societas Cooperativa Europaea, because Yeah, they named it a new form of organization according to European law. Since the last few years, it's a kind of German Genossenschaft, which is organized according to European law, which means in all European countries, I think you're well aware that we are not in Europe, to all countries of the European Union, you have the same law governing this organization, and you can easily move from one country, from one European country to the others. This organization has been initialized by, especially, as I said, by the Jülich Supercomputing Center. The lead is taken by the company Partec. Some of you know it. This company is running the Europa cluster in Jülich. So doing a little bit the dirty stuff. Jülich has not enough people for, and there were 2 meetings in Jülich this spring and this summer, and there was also a steering committee meeting in Munich a month ago, where bylaws and direction of this future cooperative have been set. The following entities agreed to take part, or let's say the representative of those entities, Jülich and Partec, of course, HP, not clear if HP Europe, Germany, or HP worldwide, the Leibniz Rechenzentrum in München, Mellanox, Boll. Boll is a very heavy player, has become a very interested player in the Lustre and in the HPC business. Then Xaratex of Peter Braun, it's very important to have Peter Braun aboard. The Barcelona Supercomputing Center, University of Zurich, this has been agreed by the director of the IT services, so University of Zurich will take part. Also interested is the CEA, the French nuclear energy agency. So there are enough members to start with. Member fee is not so high because the initial amount of money which has to be there is 30,000 euros. So if you divide this by 10, it's 3,000 euros per entity as a wants to pay cooperative share. I just copied this from the proposed bylaws. This is, of course, it's a little bit of legalese, but the idea is to have a European framework to improve parallel file systems, not only Lustre, others, but focus on Lustre currently, and but at the same time to upheld the needs of the European institutions, organizations, and so on. And so on. It will be a non-profit organization, clearly. And as I said with the Open SFS, of course, there is, besides of delivering some kind of support and so on, there is also the idea that this cooperative should gain some European research money from the European Union. So this is the idea, to go forward with Lustre without completely breaking with Oracle, trying to keep Oracle aboard, trying to make them understand what is needed. I think the Oracle Lustre developer, they know very well, but they are not managers. And furthermore, to keep the eyes open, what could be future alternatives to Lustre, which are scaling in the same way, which are producing in the which are accessible in the same speed as Lustre.